Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and welcome to our first flight on the Asobo Boeing 747-8, the majestic queen of the sky, and we finally have a wonderful model of it coming as default in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. So let's do a quick walk around over here, make sure that we collect all our belongings, most namely the pitot and the static tubes, provided that we can actually find the click spot for it, which seems to be rather well hidden. Here we go. So, number one is away. There are no chocks in place over here. Excellent. And number two is away as well. Leaves us with the engines. Here we go. Beautiful. And just look at how large of an aircraft this is. Really impressive when you're walking down here and you see that size of an airplane. Wow. Just wow. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a seat in the cockpit of the 747. And here we are. Okay, so I have manually turned it into a cold and dark mode. There doesn't seem to be an EFB in here that I could use to do that automatically. The one down here is not simulated, as you can see. No click spots, no nothing. Of course, there is always the option to go over the pop-up EFB, but this one doesn't really seem to have a cold and dark state as well. Okay, so what we're going to do is I have programmed a flight in SimBrief, which I am going to use for this one. So I will take all of that stuff externally from my physical iPad while we set the aircraft up. But first things first, let's go ahead. The battery is coming on, external power on, standby power on. Then let's do the fire and overheat test. Please? No? Okay, we don't do the fire and overheat test. Well, the screens have powered up already, so that stuff should basically work. Okay, anyway, let's continue without it then. So, starting the APU, the IRSs are set on, and then let's move down into our FMS for the initial setup. Let's get rid of the yoke down here. And well, I would love to give you a little bit better point of view here, but unfortunately, for some weird reason, it doesn't really want to change my point of view, so I'm afraid we'll have to live with it like this. The good thing is, if you just zoom in on your YouTube screen, you can now zoom into videos as well, so at least we can see something. So let's go to the weight and balance here. We are going to go for a full load of passengers on board. We'll keep the cargo where it is, and then our fuel loading has to be set up as well. So let's go ahead and do that. And according to SimBrief, we need roundabout... Of course, that's the moment where the flight plan doesn't open. According to SimBrief, we need around about 15 tons of fuel. I'll tell you what, we're going to go with 20, because let's be sure if we are doing the first flight of an aircraft. And then let's go right into the FMS. So 747-8 GNX engines, database current. We take the GPS position for the IRS alignment. And then we are departing Frankfurt on a little flight over to Munich today. Not exactly something you would do every day, but hey, we just want to get to know the aircraft, do we? Okay, so departures off runway 18, and we are departing via... Fairly sure it is going to be Anneki. So Anneki to Lima departure. No, it's Cindy indeed, Cindy. And then we can take Cindy 6 Sierra. Okay, so next page, and then we fly via Zulu 74 towards Harem, and then Tango 104. Oh, that click spot is mapped. Look at that. It moves the speed brake rather than click any of the buttons down here. So Tango 104 towards Rokiel. Oh, come on, speed brake. That can't be true. So, Rokiel, and for the arrival, they do seem to be using runway 26 in Munich at the moment, so we'll take the ILS approach for runway 26 right with the Rokiel 26 transition. Okay, so, activate. Now the execute light should come up. I'm just gonna press it anyway. Okay, So let's move on then. For our reserve fuel, we have 8,000 kilos. So reserves 8. Reserve fuel weight, we'll just take it straight from here. Cruising altitude is flight level 230. Cost index 30. Fuel temperature, we'll just leave it there. Cruise CG as well. So onto the thrust limit. Takeoff 2 at 60 degrees. And then onto the takeoff page, we are going to do a flaps 10 takeoff. We'll take the CG automatic and we'll accept the automatically calculated speeds, giving us a V2 of 160 knots. Okay. So that's our basic setup completed down here. Let's go ahead and have a look over the flight deck then. So ELT armed, EEC's auto, respectively norm and guarded. IRS is on nav, APU is running, and the generators are available. We can take them online already. Standby power auto, electrics are all on and auto. Hydraulics are off for the time being. Then, moving up over here, the audio set remains in normal. Emergency exit lights are guarded. Engine fire switches are in. The cargo fire panel has the switches set out, which means you should not see the armed up here. Yeah, definitely something wrong down here. We'll leave it where it is. Used to be here. Okay, start switches are off, and the fuel jettison system is off. Cross feeds are on, fuel pumps off, engine anti-ice is off, wing anti-ice off as well. The wipers are off, the washers are in the forward position, window heat on, and then over to the right hand side. I don't like to see red lights here. Yaw damper in up. Well, that's probably because the IRS hasn't finished aligning yet, so that is okay. Moving further down then. Packs can come on. The APU bleed is on already, so we should start hearing something since the APU is available. Well, very, very quietly. Hopefully that is something they are going to correct in a future update, because Boeing aircraft are rather loud. And that goes for the 747 as well. Okay, moving down to the front panel then. Traffic can come on, airport can come on. I'm not a huge fan of the terrain model in the Microsoft Flight Sim, so that's something they are hopefully going to work on in the future. Hello, I want... Well, that's a pretty bad click spot. Here we go. Now we've got hectopascals. Oh, no, we don't. That's a standard knob. What on earth is this doing? I need my altimeter in hectopascals, please. How can I do that? That's bad. That's really bad. Those click spots are messed up. Okay, flight directors are on. Initial climb is going to be 4,000. I just said in my 737 MAX video that it's nice that you can click and drag those buttons now. Looks like that is specific to the MAX and does not work on the 747. Why can't they? They've probably hired external development teams for every single aircraft, and for that reason every single aircraft is different now. There's questions that you just shouldn't ask. Okay, the oil quantity is good. The status page is looking good, especially the hydraulic quantity up here. Hydraulic pressure 3000 psi on systems 1 and 4. Why? They're off. They're all off. Okay, don't tell me they messed up the switch positions. Look at that. With the switch in the off position, the system fault and pressure lights are not illuminated. Now, if I turn it to the auxiliary position, the lights come on, which indicates the system turns off, as we can observe on the display as well. In other words, they confused the positions. The auxiliary should activate the auxiliary hydraulic pump, which pressurizes the system. If I turn the switch to the off position, the system should stay off. Congratulations, Asobo. That is wonderful. Just wonderful. Okay, well, let's move on with our system checks. So, We now know why those systems are pressurized. That's the important thing here. Understand when something is going wrong. Something I will not ask, however, is why we see such a negative current there. No, I'm not gonna ask questions. Okay, electrics are looking okay, I believe. Yeah, APU generators powering the buses. That's okay. Fuel system is set. We do have 2 pumps open there. Why is that? They should all be off. Well, perhaps it's for the APU. I think turning on the APU automatically activates fuel pumps. That's okay then. I haven't said anything. So, the doors are okay. The air conditioning system is powered by the APU through the thrust bleeds into the packs. Looking okay. So, flight controls, we do obviously have the 2 hydraulic indications. That's fine for me. Info page, not simulated, so be it. And the electronic checklists are simulated. Okay. Well, so back to the nav display. Let's go ahead with the remainder of the systems. So over here, auto brake is going in RTO. We do have a couple of warnings there. Let's go ahead and clear those out. And down to the pedestal, 1, 2, 2, 8 going active, and 1, 2, sorry, that's wrong. 1, 2, 1, 5 into the standby. Oh, sorry, or active in system 2. Oh, wait a moment. Why are they both on VHF left? Oh, you piece of peep. 1, 2, 1, 5, 1, 2, 2, 8. I immediately get 737 vibes over here. It seems to me that the IndyBuilds Airbuses were the exception, being so great, and perhaps the rest of the default aircraft aren't that good. Well, that is kind of good news though. What do I do now? Oh, press B. Apparently B is assigned to flaps? Why? Okay, you go back up. I don't need you. Okay, well, then let's go ahead and cross-check our charts, and when we're done with that, we can go flying. So, Frankfurt, charts, departures, 1-8, and we're looking for the Sierra procedures. So, here we go. Okay, we climb on the runway track, Delta Foxtrot 158, and that has a maximum of 220 knots. Left turn, Delta Foxtrot 159, above 2,500, Delta Fox 170, above 4,600, Antix, Cindy, and there we are already. Initial climb would be on an inset, which for some reason is not available over here. Something that they are hopefully going to fix soon. Well, and that's it. Okay, so let's put those away again. So, the current QNH in Frankfurt is 1005. But for some strange reason, with 1013, this looks okay. Let's just go into the settings here. Yeah, for some reason it didn't turn the live weather on. Don't ask me why. So, this looks better. This looks much better. Okay, so we're looking at 1005 over there. And can we maybe... No, can't even turn it to hectopascals on the other side. This is incredible. Okay, well, 1005, well, can we just do it down here? No. Why is all this stuff not working? In any case, we're looking at 360 feet elevation. Let's just dial it in like that. Here we go, 360. This is incredibly poor. Let's just say it like that. Okay, in any case, IRS alignment is finished. That execute light not working there is really a problem. I will completely miss so many indications, or so many changes that have not been executed yet. Okay, so let's turn those lights up a little bit. And can we do the same over here? Yeah, we can. Okay. Well, that's good. Why am I changing the brightness of the standby unit with the brightness control for the lower display unit? The standby should be here and here, where that minus sign is missing down there. No further comment. Asobo. This is really catastrophe, this release. Okay, let's turn you up, and let's turn you up. Now we can see something. Okay, so V2 is 160. Climbing 4000 using LNAV VNAV. So this is the moment where I would turn the hydraulics into the auxiliary position. Let's just do it so that we can follow a realistic flow over here. Okay, so the fuel pumps are coming on. Okay, so let's go ahead. I think that's everything we need to do up here. So then let's continue with our engine starts. So thrust levers are in idle, the parking brake is set, the shocks are removed. No clue why the fuel control switches are in the run position by default, but let's turn those off. And then let's go ahead and start engines number 3 and 4. You can start 2 at the same time in the 747. We should get white lights illuminating now, but they are running up anyway. Yeah, they are missing the ignition lights up there. Okay, well, it is starting. We gotta take things the way we get them, huh? Okay, auto start is in progress, and once the auto start is complete, these white auto start indications up there will turn green and then eventually disappear. So another way to tell that the engine start is complete is by that red EGT start limit line being removed from the indication. Both of these work as indicators that your engines have started correctly, so let's see that in action. Alright, engines 3 and 4 are almost there. And here we go. Running is showing. The start lines have disappeared. And with that, let's go ahead and start engines 1 and 2. Those guys really shouldn't be around anymore. So, time to start turning. Well, they are. Perhaps the windmilling just... Okay, you really should get away there. That is not healthy. Okay, it looks like we've got good engine starts there. Fuel flow is gradually increased by the electronic engine control. And here we go. Okay, perfect. Both engines running, even though they aren't stable yet. But I'll just take things the way they come, huh? Okay, so the electrics are on. APU off. Hydraulics auto. And I think we just leave the air conditioning panel completely unchanged in the 747. Equipment cooling going to norm, by the way. Should have done that earlier, my mistake. And the same goes for the beacon. Okay. I think that is 4 good engine starts. So, flaps 10. Well, you are completed, my friends. For some reason I can't click anything on the checklist anyway. We really have to do that through the button down here? No. Okay, so it's broken. I'm just not questioning that anymore. I'm kind of worried about that. Okay, flight control track. Full up. Full down. Neutral. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Rudder. Full left. Full right. And neutral. Okay, and just to be 100% sure, contrary to the 737 MAX, if we pull this, it stays. That's what I wanted to see. Okay, let's just make sure the correct trim is set here as well. 6.5, and here we go. Okay, well, suppose then, taxi and turn-off lights going on. Another 747 coming on the left, and once we're clear of him, we can start our taxi towards runway 18. Quite cool to have all this variety of traffic over here. That is something that I do really appreciate about this simulator. The nose wheel sunk into the ground down there? Yeah, the mains as well. Look at that. Whoopsie. Okay, so clear of traffic. Brakes coming off. So a little bit of power. And off we go. Left is clear, right is clear. I'm still getting used to the mouse handling when looking around. It's just so super sensitive. Alright, very large airplane. Gotta be sure that we don't underestimate those turns. On the other hand side, gotta make sure that we don't overestimate them either. Now, does anybody of you know a way how to adjust the default point of view already? Just look at the cutoff angle. This is much too low over here. Look at that. The cutoff angle is up there at the yellow line. If we now look outside, that's this much. So the default point of view is just much too low. That is really something they gotta work on. But that is a general problem with flight simulators. MSFS has too low viewpoints, X-Plane has them. I really don't know why that is, why developers do this, but... I mean, look at this, you can barely see something outside. How are you meant to hold shot properly of a runway when your point of view is like this? And especially with this point of view, you've got to be especially cautious about getting your speeds right. As you can see, we're at 28 knots already, and looking outside, we are going really fast here. Remember, this airplane is over 80 meters long that we see. But from the inside, it barely looks like it. Right, where are you coming from? Okay, slow it down, off to the right. This has got to be an interesting turn to take. Again, look at the point of view. We can barely see anything here. How can I judge whether I'm on the taxiway? Let's see it from here. Yeah, it's kinda alright, but you get the problem. Look at this. I can't see anything. Where am I turning? I literally can't see a thing. Everything is cut off. The same will happen when we are turning back to the left over here, because this gentleman in his A330neo, who is about to clip our tail, just blocked our taxiway there. Okay, so next best guess as to when we have to turn left. Let's try now. So, full left input. Come on, get turning, please. At least they don't have to mow the lawn anymore. Come on. You can do this. I trust you. If only we could see things properly outside, then this would have been quite a bit easier. Okay, well, here we are. So, runway 18, let's line up. Strobes coming on. Auto throttle armed, and transponder on. Let's go for weather over here. Still get a TCAS off message. Okay, because the alt report off is all the way to the right. Well, I can live with that. Okay, so let's bring the yoke into view over here as well. 20 knots, a little bit fast for that lineup. Let's go back down to 10. That's better. Okay, into the turn. And then, are you ready to go? So, lights on. Takeoff. Yeah, disregard those checklists, because they apparently don't work. Takeoff. Yeah, thrust going above the limit there. Because why not? Well, setting it manually. Back to the target then. Rotate. Positive climb. Gear up. I cancelled you already. Go away. Okay, autopilot. So, thrust draft, enough speed. Okay, we're up in the air. Should start the acceleration any moment now. I didn't actually check where the VNAV bug was, or where the acceleration was set. Should have done that, of course. So, flaps 5. Speed checked. Flaps 5. Flaps 1. Speed checked. Flaps 1. And yeah, I tell you what, let's go flaps up. Icing is detected. Okay, engine and wing anti-ice auto. Okay, flaps up. Speed checked. Flaps up. So let's climb flight level 230, which is going to be our final cruising level for the day. And that is set. Alright, very good. The new clouds are looking pretty good. It's no longer just cumulus clouds that are being bent into looking like stratus clouds, but it's actually real stratus from the way it looks. That's quite cool. They have certainly worked on that. The graphics are looking a lot better here. Very well done. Okay, let's go back inside for a moment, set standards. Standards cross-check, passing flight level 70 now. Checked. So let's just see if there is anything we can do about this checklist. No, that's a speed brake, not a checklist, but I can't click anything down here. If I'm trying to use the cursor control, nothing happens. So yeah, unsure how I'm supposed to go about this checklist. In that case, we'll just cancel it away. Well, and here again the problems with the point of view clearly show. You can see we can't see anything outside. With that pitch angle, which is just about 8 degrees right now, can't see anything. So we've got to look to the sides to see what's in front of us. You get the problem with that, I suppose. So, passing 10,000. Lights off, and logo light can come off as well. And seatbelts off as well. Perfect. So, top of climb at about 30 nautical miles over there. The top of descent shouldn't be too far either. Listen to those sounds. We barely hear any wind noise. I'm fairly sure there should be quite a bit more. And we're doing almost 300 knots over here. That should turn into quite a bit of noise as that air is flowing across the windows, maybe 50 centimeters in front of us. Okay, well, we've made it out of Frankfurt, so let's go ahead and start having a look into the charts for Munich already. Preparation is key, always. So let's see, Munich, and then charts, arrivals, 26 right, and we take the stars from the north, we can pin that one. For the approaches, we'll have the ILS approach runway 26 right. We can pin that one as well. Airport charts. So we take the general ground chart and the parking stands east, which is the Lufthansa apron. What's always good practice to do as well is to read the airport operational information. If we have a look into that one, in here you've got a lot of things such as the airport's opening hours. Okay, here we go. Page number 2, please. And you've got preferential runway systems, some transponder operation on the ground. So there's usually a lot of very good information available down here. For instance, maximum speed 250 knots below level 100 in airspace classes Delta, Echo and Golf. Note that class Charlie is not on here, and class Charlie is what you fly through. Well, I'd say in the vast amount of cases. By the way, really nice down here as well that you can switch between FAA charts, which of course are only available in the US for US airports, and Lido charts, which is the general Lufthansa systems. In my opinion, Lido really is the best chart provider available, but I'm sure some diehard Jefferson fans will not agree with me on that. Alright, so let's go ahead and see if we can find that pin board for the charts, which should have been somewhere over here. The en route map is unfortunately not all that good. Now, Lido has very good en route charts. I'm a huge fan of them, using them all the time when flying. Unfortunately, it looks like they still have this general piece of charts over here. And at least I haven't found any way how to overlay the actual Lufthansa Systems charts into here. Well, suppose we'll have to live with that. Okay, so for the time being, we did pin those charts, but now we apparently can't find those. Oh, up here they are. Okay, safe flights, perfect. So this is what I've been looking for. So let's go ahead and have a look into the charts in question. For some odd reason, it does take it a while to download those when I'm selecting the menu. Not 100% sure why that's happening. Okay, Stars North does not look like the one that we are actually looking for our flight. So let's go ahead and unpin that and then go back to the approaches. Are we looking for the CDO RNAV transition chart? Let's try that one. Yeah, that's the one we're looking for. So we zoom all the way in here. Not quite sure why the aircraft icon shows over here. I don't think we are that close. I mean, this shows us like, what, 7 miles prior Delta Kilo Bravo VOR? That is definitely not our position. If you look at the ND, Delta Kilo Bravo is up here, 45 miles out. Or 42 miles. Well, not exactly perfect just yet. Hopefully that's going to be worked on. But nonetheless, this is the chart we're looking for, so let's go ahead and pin that one as well. Okay, so back to the chart clipboard, here we go. Well, that's 26 right, that's the important one. We are climbing rather slow over here. But okay, we're still in climb 2D rate. And just to be sure, I did not accidentally extend the speed brake. Very good. Okay. Very good. So let's go on then. And over here we've got most of the transition that we need anyway. So, approaching 1,000 to go. Vertical speed. So let's go ahead and fly that level off, and once we're done with that, we can start with our approach preparation. I gotta say, from up here, the weather is looking a lot better than it did in Microsoft Flight Simulator, the old one. The new cloud types that have been added really do make a difference. And something I do really like as well, if you're looking onto those clouds up here, you see an effect that we have a lot in the real world, where the sun reflecting off the clouds can be really blinding. That is something you absolutely want to be aware of, and that you want to prevent as early as possible by using your sunglasses. Now this gotta look really cool as well, doesn't it? Wow. Graphic-wise, they really brought it to a new level. So, Alt, VNAV, and here we are. Okay then, let's go ahead and start working a little bit. So, starting on the Lex page, Rocal is usually a flat level 130, if I'm not mistaken. So let's enter Rocal 130, execute. That gives us a new top of descent up here as well. And then, VNAV, descent preparation. So, 240 below 10,000 is fine with me. Transition level, let's go ahead and grab the weather. So, Munich, information, weather. UNH 1006, that means the transition level is going to be 70. Come on. Yep, it doesn't understand the abbreviated format, it seems. Okay, for the winds, I'm just gonna grab something off my SimBrief flight plan. So let's say flight level 200 and flight level 100. And looking into the flight plan at level 200, we should have 278 at 26. Come on, ClickSpots. Look at that, I can't press the slash without extending my speed brakes. That is really a problem. Beta testing? Nah, we don't need to do that. So 292 at 34. Alright, that's gotta be good enough. Echo Delta Delta Mike, and I need the slash again, so let's extend the speed brake once again. So slash 25 miles. And now going forward to our actual approach, let's have a look at the chart. So we're coming in from Rokill and we inserted level 130 there, Delta Mike 421, and then we've got a lot of on-off points until we end up at Delta Mike 429, and over here we go directly towards 429, and thereafter continue on the 080 track. That's perfect. The approach itself, starting at Gudek, we do have Delta Mike 438 down here as well, 5,000 above, then Gudek 5,000. It is a 3-degree glide path, which we have down here as well. Mike November Whiskey 2,690, which we have, and then the runway point. And for the missed approach, at 1 DME Delta Mike November west of Delta Mike November, or minimum 1,900, whichever is later. So we've got Delta Mike November 01, 1900. Direct Mike into Quebec climbing 5,000, and we have Mike into Quebec climbing 5,000. So that is looking very good down here already. Perfect. So, before we close this, let's find the minimums. We're in a category Delta aircraft today, so that's going to be 1,650. That was too fast. Come on. Here we go, 1,650. It was a lot easier to set this than I was afraid already. Okay, so last but not least, QNH 1006, and that should equal, well, we've had 2966 according 1005, so we gotta take 3 more, so give me something around 2970, 2969, should be fine. And the standby can be set immediately, so 1006. Oh. That's interesting. They didn't simulate the standard mode over here. They just go to 1013. Okay, well, that's a bug, but to be fair, probably rather a design decision. I don't care. Okay. So, auto brake 3, and that's it. Okay, so far so good. We can start the descent in about 15 miles there. Last but not least, arrival fuel 13.7, current 16.1, so we're using 2.4 tons. Let's calculate 2 tons to make it easy. So that's a landing gross weight at 263. Alright, flaps 30 for the approach, auto brake 3 should be good. Perfect. Any questions on the approach briefing? No? Wonderful. So, FMC message. Oh, we cleared that already. That message should have gone away. And why did it do a recall now? They do seem to have some flawed recall logic there. Well, just no further comment. Leaves me happy. I'm fine with it. I'm just not going to get angry. Not when we've got such good visuals outside. And inside. I mean, the cockpit looks really splendid, doesn't it? I think once they worked on everything, and once things get a little bit more stable, this is actually a fairly cool thing to use. The graphics surely are up there. The sounds are okay-ish. Flight dynamic-wise, we'll still have to see. I did use the autopilot very early on this one. Setting my MCP altitude down already so that the aircraft can start its descent once we actually pass the TD down here in 3 nautical miles. So, overall, there is a very clear potential visible there, even though they don't really make use of it just yet. I just think it's been released far too early, the simulator. But well, suppose we are going to see about that part. Okay, started the descent. Now here's something that the airplane actually does pretty good. You can see we still haven't reached the top of descent just yet, but it already starts decelerating to the descent speed. Now, if things go like they should, we are going to reach that target descent speed by the time we pass the top of descent over here, and then the airplane is going to leave the cruising altitude. This is quite accurate. They've done this really well. You see, it's not exclusively about complaining. There are good things in here as well, which are certainly worth pointing out. So, idle thrust. Speed roughly constant. Slightly increasing, let's see where this is going. But descending right on the path. For a default aircraft, that's pretty good already. Thinking back just a couple of years, things did look different then. Back then, VNAV would have been a dream. Well, LNAV would have been a dream, or an FMS would have been a dream in first place. So, yeah, they have come quite a way. Even though it's strange to me that all those default aircraft seems to have different qualities. So, the A330 is really good, the A400 is really good. You can clearly see InniBuilds put their soul into it and created very good aircraft. The rest of them, however, at least those that I've flown, think 737 MAX. Well, that one was an utter catastrophe anyway, so that's not worth really talking about. But the 747 as well, I mean, it gets us going, but there are a couple of really nasty issues here that I hope they are eventually going to iron out. Okay, so anyway, let's see, we are descending, we are below level 250, so seatbelt signs are gonna come on. TCAS can be set to below already, even though for an interesting reason that is really beyond me, we just don't get any traffic indications. On the ground there is so much traffic, but in flight, traffic is selected. We don't get the amber TCAS indication, so the settings are done correctly. It just seems that there is no traffic around here. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a little shortcut. Let's bring that chart up. So, if there is no traffic around, then we would definitely get ATC shortcuts as well. So let's proceed direct Delta Mike 426. Actually, let's make it 427, which is off the flight plan, but I want to see if we, if the FMS is capable of doing that. So Delta Mike 427. We'll put that on the top, and then 429 behind it, like that. Okay, execute. And here we go. Oh, what's it doing here? No, please don't climb. You keep descending, my friend. So let's take a little shortcut here. 427, thereafter Gudek. Now the airplane should recalculate the expected altitude at 427, but it doesn't do it. Okay. I'll tell you what, let's do 427, 6000. So what's the autopilot doing here? 250 knots is maybe a little bit too little. And it should still be descending at 1,000 feet a minute instead of leveling off. Okay, here we go back down. Now let's see what happens to the airspeed. Idle. But it seems to take a little bit long to actually go back to idle. Of course it's trying to do things smoothly, but it should just have started earlier, because now we're getting a little bit into the overspeed there. Well, not the actual overspeed, but we are overspeeding our target speed. It should have been capable of doing that a little bit better. I have to admit it's been a little while since I've actually flown the Aircraft Avionics Update 747 back in MSFS, but I don't recall it doing these kind of things. I thought it could do those a bit better. Okay, let's continue our descent down to... Oh. What's it doing now? Oh, I think I deleted the constraint. Okay, level change. Now this actually is quite a good example of how you should fly aircraft. When I turned the MCP altitude down, I didn't intend to turn it to 0, I intended to turn it to 5,000. But it just jumped, which is something that the real airplane wouldn't do. The real airplane doesn't have an accelerator in there, but I can understand why people would like that on a sim, so no complaints about that. But when it went down below the constraint I had inserted at Delta Mike 427, and I wanted to turn it back up, so I moved my mouse to the right, but apparently I moved it to the middle of the switch and not rightmost enough. So I accidentally pressed the altitude intervent switch, which deleted the constraint at Delta Mike 427. This in turn caused our VNAV path to jump up, and therefore the aircraft immediately started to pitch up. Admittedly too violently, but it started to pitch up, which is okay. Now fixing this requires going into the FMS, inserting the 6,000 feet restriction again, execute. Now, in the real world, since the aircraft would have pitched quite a bit slower, I could immediately just have done that, or went to level change, and the aircraft would probably barely have reacted at all. However, since it does require a little analyzing the problem and stuff, when the aircraft pitched up, I looked at the mode, I saw, okay, something was wrong. So the first thing to do, before going down into the FMS and fixing the issue, was to revert to level change mode so that the aircraft is going to continue descending. And that's basic aviate, navigate, communicate here, with the aviate being the first thing. The plane doesn't go where you want it to go? Okay, fix it first. If the managed mode doesn't do what it's supposed to do, revert to the next lower level of automation, which in this case is level change. Alright, and now that we fixed VNAV, we can go back to VNAV. Now we were a little bit high above the profile. Let's see if we end up being a bit too fast when reaching 10,000 feet. I wouldn't be surprised. Now that would be for the pilot to fix then using the speed brake. I just want to see where exactly we end up and how well or not the aircraft's going to be able to cope with it. After all, the 6,000 feet restriction we inserted at 427 is somewhat of an artificial restriction and not a real troublemaker there. If this was a hard restriction by ATC, of course we would be using the speed brake now to get down and to catch that path again, but since it is not a hard ATC restriction, we can just let the airplane fly down like this. After all, I've been pretty conservative when selecting the 6,000 constraint there. Gudek is in 5,000, and we basically need 3 nautical miles to lose those 1,000 feet, so after 427, if we fly all the way around like this, we have like 8 or 9 miles, which is plenty of distance to lose the altitude. For that reason, I'm not really chasing the VNAV path right now, as it would just not be worth it. Okay, so 240 knots, looking good, reaching 10,000 feet. The lights are coming on. Let's see, the seatbelt sign is on already, even though, for a reason that I don't know, we don't see seatbelts on the ICAS. We should get a message for that, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure we should. Okay, so let's continue present heading, clean up the flight plan. So you give me Gudek up here. Intercept course 266. Okay, execute. Oh. Well, that's a bug. Look at that, it just removed Gudek from the approach entirely. Why did it do that? I guess I don't want to know. Okay, level change. Let's help it now. Oh, look at that, we can just pull the spoilers across the flight detent. Well, let's manually leave him there then. they doing anything? No. Look at that, the spoilers have no effect. In fact, they don't even extend at all. Are they telling me the spoilers are inoperative in the Boeing 747? You can't be serious. They released the airplane without spoilers. I mean, those are basic flight controls. Well, flaps seem to add quite a bit of drag though. So flaps 1, look at that. 1,600 feet a minute extra by going flaps 1. Oh my friends, that is, if you just look at it, the flaps are still up. It's only the slats which are extended, which is correct for the flaps 1 position, by the way. But, come on. That is, yeah. A little bit much. Let's see what 5 brings. So, flaps 5. You shouldn't hear any sounds of them extending, by the way, in the cockpit. Okay, set QNH. And then we can start a right-hand turn onto the final. Come on, Moss. And here we go. Heading 230, cleared for the approach. Let's start to slow down a bit as well. Speed back 180. 14 miles out, looking quite fine. Oh boy. The flaps have a good amount of drag. I mean, if the speed brakes don't work, use the flaps. Why not? Okay, because the Boeing FCTM tells you not to do that, but what's the flight crew training manual worth anyway, huh? Okay, approach is armed. So, leveling off in 5,000. Speed is coming back nicely, 180 is looking good. But let's match it exactly to the flap 5 speed, so 179. Okay. Localizer capture, runway heading 260 set. Glide slope alive. By the way, what is that flaperon doing down there? And why are we going left and right? Are we rocking our wings for someone? Or is it just the localizer intercept mode that's causing issues? Probably the latter. Look at that. Getting left and right and up and down. Well, we are established on the final approach course. That's the important thing. Glide slope capture, go around altitude 5,000 sat. Still no seatbelt indication, by the way. Just wondering, if I turn it to auto, are we gonna get it then? No. Okay, that's fine. Now, I would like to actually be able to see the runway. Talk about the low viewpoint once again. It's not just on the taxiway that's a problem, it's definitely going to be a problem on the landing as well. Okay, so lights are on. Do we need to arm the speed brakes?
2,500.
You don't go past the flight detent, my friend. Okay, I think they're armed now. Very good. So at 2,000 feet we're going to continue to configure the aircraft. Small point, by the way, looking outside there now that we can actually see the airport. First of all, we're established on the taxiway, not on the runway. But that's just something. But look at the taxiway lights you see there. You definitely should not see those. Definitely not at daylight. And not in the night as well. Normally they are dimmed down far enough that the runway lights are the ones that are visible, not the taxiway lights, to prevent people from accidentally landing on a taxiway. Alright, gear down, flaps 20. Because after all, landing on a taxiway is one of those things, you know, where it's so easy to laugh about celebrities saying, I'm the schmuck that landed on the taxiway, but, you know, okay, flaps 30. Alright, then let's give this a go. Come on, autopilot disengage, will you? No? They don't simulate the disengage button? Really? Okay. I hate to do it from up here. You should never use the disengage bar to disengage the autopilot unless the button on the yoke fails. And now let's fly it back to the center line. This is taking us into the grass down there. Flight director's off. And auto throttle off as well. Let's do this manually. I need to apply quite a bit of trim in order to get the aircraft back into a trimmed state. That is not exactly meant to be like this. And now, of course, we can't get rid of the autopilot disconnect warning down there. Well, at least it's just the visual one and not the acoustic autopilot disconnect warning. That one would have been a little bit more annoying if we couldn't cancel it. Okay, nice and established. So now it's only small control inputs. Checked. Continue. At least the glide slope is very well positioned over here. It seems to get us right down onto the aiming point. We're on the poppy. Okay, here we are. So, spoilers, reverse green. Manual brakes. Well, this was a little strange landing, like, you didn't really feel the touchdown, did you? And it just stopped so incredibly quickly. I mean, look at this. We barely used any runway at all. Look at those strange taxiway lights here. Everything is displaced to the left. Why is that? Now that, sure enough, can't just be server issues, right? Okay, so vacating that runway, and we'll go straight to the apron over here. Again, it's very hard to taxi the airplane as we just can't see much. Okay, so transponder alt off, flaps going up. Flight director is off already, landing lights are coming off, the strobe lights coming off, and the APU on. Perfect. strange bridge down here. Oh! For real? Cool. Well. This is too bad. I guess... Well... Let me just add Toga over here, see what happens. Nothing. So we're actually not able to power out of this. Well... My friends, I guess that's an early ending of the flight then. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. As always, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. Leave your feedback, please not below this video, just put it straight into the MSFS forums. I mean, this is atrocious, isn't it? As always, like, comment and subscribe. If you really love what I'm doing, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. And I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one.